Hey everybody, Bones here, Bones Garage, just bringing the update what's going on at the garage. So, 1969 Mercury Cougar, we have the motor basically all apart. We just have the oil pan left, and I know we're gonna find a bunch of junk in that oil pan. And do you know why I know? Because this used to have a nylon gear on it. Yeah, the upper timing chain gear was nylon, and now it is not. You can see this was the nylon coating that they would put on these gears, and you can see it right here. All the nylon is falling off. We just moved the chain by hand. We didn't even loosen up the bottom to get any. You can see we still have the oil slinger on here. It's still there. So yeah, this is just moved by hand. And if I push it back into place, there we go, we're back in. Look at all of the play, and you can see a piece of nylon just fell off of it. So yeah, that's really bad. That's not good. We're gonna find all of that inside the pan. Probably gonna find a bunch of it stuck inside the oil pump pickup tube. So yeah, that's the first thing we found. Otherwise, the motor, except for it being really greasy, dirty, this motor has probably never been done. There's probably never anything done to this motor, because we have a minuscule amount of a lip at the end of the ring travel. So the piston comes up like on this one, and the ring right at that black line, that's where the top ring, the compression ring, stops, and the piston starts going back down. Normally a motor that's high mileage would leave a lip right there, but this one doesn't seem to have any lip. So it's in good condition. So I'm going to take a guess that this motor has about 70,000 or so miles, give or take a couple thousand, plus or minus, because of the condition of this timing chain. And that's usually when these nylons went bad, is at about 60, 70. Sometimes they would even make it to 80, but they usually never passed that. We also have all of the push rods, rockers, and lifters out. This is the passenger side, and this is the driver's side. And if we look at the lifters, you can see they're not brand new. They've got some wear on them. You can see how they have what looks like rings around them. That's time. Time has done that from it sitting on the camshaft. And then if you look right in the middle, you see that pitting right there? That is high heat. That is usually caused by lack of lubrication between the lifter and the camshaft itself. It actually boils the metal. It gets that hot, that much friction is going through there. So you do need a good zinc additive. Now zinc, you don't want to add too much, because then it just takes away from what it's supposed to do. You don't want to put in too little, because then it doesn't work. So you really need to use a zinc, because it was probably, once we pull the cam out of here, we're probably going to see some excessive wear on some of the lobes in here. I don't know yet. I'll show you that when we get to it. So these are your lifters, these are your push rods, these are your rockers, those are your rocker nuts. That's how all of that works. Then we have the headgear. And when I was driving the car, we didn't have any real oil, blue smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe under hard acceleration. We had blue smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe when you would lift your foot off the gas pedal. Normally that means that you have a valve that is letting oil get into the cylinder. So one of your valve seals, your valve stem, your valve guide, something is worn out, and it's allowing oil to bypass and get into the cylinder. And if you look at this cylinder and this cylinder and this cylinder, we're pretty wet on those. Now, if you look at our exhaust ports, you'll see this cylinder and this cylinder had really bad oil coming through. Look at how wet inside there is. It's really bad. That is not good at all. This one has a little bit, you could just barely see it around the bottom of the valve stem, and this one's good. There's not really anything wrong with this one. And the same in these. A little tiny bit, but not terrible. They're a lot drier. You can see how dry that one is, that one, and that one. This one has a tiny bit of wetness on it, but nothing major. This was the side that we were definitely getting the blue smoke out of. So what happens is when you take your foot off the gas pedal, as the cylinder, the piston is coming down into the cylinders, creating a vacuum, and then pulling that oil from the top of the head up here, where your valve sits, pulling that oil in through there, so you got either a bad seal or a bad guide or something like that, and then down into your cylinder, especially right here on this exhaust valve. This is your exhaust valve right here. So that's basically what was going on. The heads are really nice condition. They don't look like they've ever had anything done to them. It does not look like they've ever been ground. If you look, you can see how the valves are sitting on the seats. They're not recessed into the head. They're sitting, and you've got a little bit of a lift between here and here that you can feel as you run your finger across there. So we should be good with these heads. These heads should clean up real nice. We'll put a hardened seat in here because these do not have hardened seats. And with today's unleaded fuel, you need a hardened seat. And then we'll get it all fixed up, cleaned up. We'll get them milled. Everything will be nice and new guides. We'll just recondition the valves if they're in good shape. Same thing with the crankshaft. If the crankshaft is in good shape, just give it a good polish, put it right back in. Cylinders probably are just going to need a good hone if they measure out. If we're not bellying in the middle here, it should just need a good hone, and that's about it. Pistons look like they're in good shape. We could probably use those over because the cylinders look like they're in really good shape as well. So more than likely the pistons can be used over, which is going to save a lot of money. A lot of money, because pistons, you got to figure around $300 to $600 a set. The better piston we get, the more money they're going to cost. We are definitely getting a new cam and new lifters. We're getting a new timing chain for this, and then just have the motor nicely freshened up. So there you go, guys. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Okay, bye.